Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be another episode of Watch List Wednesday, and I will admit, a couple elephants in the room. One, today is Thursday. Two, this video is coming out super late at night. I am really sorry for that, but I watched this movie yesterday. I recorded this video yesterday, and I did not like the way that I recorded the video. I think that everything about the way that I was talking about the movie was really lame, and it ended up being a 4-minute long video. So I'm gonna come back today, do the video better, do the video properly, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about this movie. For one, Beetlejuice, right off the bat, part of the reason I'm watching it right now is obviously they're making Beetlejuice. That's coming out literally this weekend. I'm gonna go watch it tomorrow. I'm very excited about it. But part of the reason I wanted to watch this is I've seen the Beetlejuice Broadway musical a couple of times, and I've always been a really big fan of it, and I've never once thought to go back and watch the Michael Keaton one. And it's currently on HBO Max for anybody who hasn't seen it and wants to go watch the original. And I actually really thoroughly enjoyed this, so let's get into this review, shall we?
Watch, oh, it's Watch List Wednesday.
I'll add it to the list.
Alrighty, so right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and address some of the big things. For one, I didn't realize how little Michael Keaton was going to be in this movie. The movie is called Beetlejuice. It's an hour and 30-minute long movie, and I feel like he doesn't even really show up in the first 45 minutes, except for maybe there's a 10-second cameo scene where he shows up and he's reading the newspaper and he sees them and they're just oh, these guys are going to be so easy to scam. And then other than that, he's not in the entire first half of the movie, which I thought was really interesting. And at first I thought that was a really weird decision, and then I realized he's kind of very similar to how Captain Jack Sparrow is with the entire Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, where it's he might be the face of the movie, but he's not actually the main character. He's more of the comic relief character, and he's one of those characters where the less you know about him, the better it is, because whenever he comes in and he starts doing some of his spooky things and he's really manipulative and making a bunch of really inappropriate jokes, you're kind of oh, okay, that's awesome, because that is great in small doses. But yeah, if this entire movie was centered around the Beetlejuice character and it was just him the entire time, I feel like this would get very old very fast. Something that I do think is really interesting, there is a lot of really outdated comedy in this. A lot of the comedy obviously works relatively well, and like I said, it's outdated, but I think something about it that works a little bit is the fact that Beetlejuice is a person who died hundreds and hundreds of years ago, so it actually kind of works that he wouldn't know, oh, some of these jokes and stuff that he's saying are so not acceptable to say. So I think that in a lot of ways it works a lot, and I think that the humor for the most part in this movie is very interesting. I will admit some of the humor when it comes to them being in the DMV type area in the afterworld, and they're showing a lot of different people and how they pass away. There are some moments where it's I think that that's supposed to be a really comedic beat, and instead I'm really depressed. I think that there was a joke, or there was a girl who was up there who had killed herself, and I was oh, okay, oh god, okay. But yeah, other than that, I do feel a lot of the jokes worked relatively well. I'm not the kind of person who gets offended or butthurt if a joke is insensitive. So for me, this movie and this comedy still lives up. I definitely can understand why some younger generations wouldn't like it, but at the same time, I can also see 100% why this is a cult classic. The movie is absolutely hilarious. I absolutely love pretty much all of the acting performances in here. I feel Winona Ryder is absolutely fantastic at this. Michael Keaton obviously is fantastic at this. Alec Baldwin is great in this. I don't know the name of the actress who plays his love interest, but she's also a whole lot of fun in this. And I just think overall, the entire cast is just having an absolute blast with this movie. Tim Burton puts so much style into this film, and I like the way that literally every single character is willing to just fully send it and be really weird and over the top. And I really like this movie because it has horror elements, but it's not really scary at all. And a lot of the possession scenes and sequences that looks like they would be scary or should be scary are dialed up to 100 and played for laughs, and I think that that's awesome. The scenes where he takes over the entire group of people and they make them sing and dance or whatever, that's so whimsical and that's so fun. And as I'd mentioned earlier, I've watched the Broadway musical a couple of times. Watching this movie, you can 100% see where people were oh my god, this needs a live screen stage adaptation. This would be awesome to see on a big stage somewhere. And I'm glad they did, because for one, I think that the character of Beetlejuice is incredibly iconic and super funny, but also the fact that the daughter is really depressed and she doesn't really feel she fits into the themes of that. And then on top of it, there's also a lot to this world is just really colorful, and there's a lot of fun set designs and stuff you can do. So overall, thought that it was an incredibly fun movie. I think that the Halloween vibes and the spookiness of it is so fantastic. I love how kind of like tacky a lot of the visual effects and stuff are. Like, obviously back in the day, this might have been like really, really incredible. Like, some people might have saw this and it might have been jaw-dropping, but something that sucks about being a younger person and going back and rewatching some of those old movies, I will never be able to watch it and have the same spectacle as people who watched it back in the day and were like, oh my god, that little giant sandworm thing is really cool and menacing. But that being said, I can still enjoy it. Like, I think it's so fun, and I think that it's very campy, which is something that I actually really enjoy. Tim Burton, famously known for his direction style, being very, like, out there and very artistic and bold, and I definitely think that this movie just perfectly encapsulates the 100%, like, if I'm thinking of Tim Burton, these vibes. Awesome. I love it. But yeah, a lot of the elements that I really liked about this movie, I feel like just the world building in general is really interesting. I like the fact that they don't really like say that heaven doesn't exist. They don't really say that hell doesn't exist. It doesn't like touch on the toes of like anybody who's like super religious, and it's just like, this goes against my religious beliefs. It's just like, once they die, they become ghosts, and the whole story of them becoming ghosts and realizing, oh my god, we're stuck here. We're gonna have to see these people living in our house for the next 100 something years is really interesting. I kind of like the way that they don't necessarily downplay it, because it is kind of still a serious topic, like they died, but at the same time, they're kind of having fun because they're just like, we're ghosts now. This is really interesting. It reminds me a lot of Casper in a way, and I love Casper. I think Casper is probably one of my favorite Halloween movies ever. So for me, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was fun. The sequences where they're like cutting holes into sheets and trying to like scare people is really funny. Eventually when they get down to the point where they like are messing with their faces and they're doing some of the weird, scary stuff there, also really entertaining. Like, overall, I just thought this movie was a really, really good time, and I had a great time with it. I thought it was really entertaining. It is short and sweet and to the point, so I probably will be watching it a couple of more times throughout this Halloween season, because I liked it. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna be totally honest, part of the reason I've been putting it off for so long, I was not expecting to like this movie, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, I liked that. There were definitely some moments in this movie that were a lot more depressing than I was expecting it to be. Like, all the stuff with like the football team that passed away, and at the end when they're just like, hey coach, I don't think we survived the crash, I was like, that's kind of really depressing. But other than that, fantastic movie. Absolutely enjoyed it. If I had to give it a rating, I'm pretty sure on my Letterboxd I rated it like a 4.2, so I'm I think I rated it a 4. So I probably would rate it like an 82 out of 100. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Michael Keaton is so iconic in this role, and I love just how campy this movie feels. It's very silly and goofy, and it knows not to take itself too seriously. And I love when movies are able to do that. But yeah, that being said, that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching, and if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow. Bow. Bow.